evening and welcome to Rate 'em or Slate 'em live at 8 o'clock. We have sprung forward. The clocks have changed. It's still relatively light outside, although the weather is absolutely terrible and awful here in Rotherham. We've got what I thought was not a lot to discuss tonight, but do you know what? This is the best turnout we've had for a Rate 'em and Slate 'em in many weeks. First and foremost, I want to introduce my panel of guests. I think I have to point this way, and that'll point to Pete. I've got Pete Scott with us. How's it going, Pete? You right, pal?
Yeah, evening to mate, lads. Hope all's well.
Yeah. And Pete is a Rotherham fan, but you have an affiliation to Spurs as well, don't you, Pete?
Yeah, my dad's a Tottenham fan, so yeah, I've got a bit of soft spot for Spurs, yeah.
Bit of a soft spot for Spurs.
Yeah.
And then to the left or right of Pete, I've got LAGS Luke, who is predominantly a Dorking fan, but also likes Spurs. How's it going, Luke? You okay, pal?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It probably is the other way around, but probably should be the way you said it. I mean, Up the Dorking, they're walking away to the title after a win this week. But
that's what I want to ask. How are Dorking getting on? Are they...
So they just beat a team that had a game in hand on them and that were 4 points behind. Right. That's now given them a nice 6-point gap with 5 to play. So we are in pole position to win the title.
Happy days. Good lad, Luke. And then I've got Danny, or Rate Chuffed, as he's called, on here. Danny has done a few shows with me on a Sunday recently. He's one of my very best friends. Danny, how's it going, pal? You all right?
Yeah, mate. I don't know about everybody else. I'm quite tired, but I didn't realise till midday that clocks had gone forward. I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, well, they have. Well, it changes automatically on your iPhone. We spring forward in March and we fall back.
Yeah, this is the only technology I do, and I struggle with this.
Forward in March, fall back in. Is it October? I think it is, isn't it? I can't remember. And then I've got Carl, our Manchester City fan, in the bottom corner there. Carl, we all right, mate?
I'm all right. Danny, it is very tiring when you support Rotherham. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's
Look, this is what Rotherham does to you.
This is what City does.
Imagine if you didn't win titles, Carl. What would you look like?
We didn't for the first 30 years of my life.
Very good. Right, so let's get on to it. Obviously, we've got Luke here, who's a Spurs fan. Pete, whose dad supports Spurs. Breaking news today was that Igor Tudor has mutually terminated his contract at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm just going to read out a couple of things from Tottenham Hotspur. Where are we? Here we go. A club statement on Sunday afternoon read, "We can confirm it has been mutually agreed for our head coach, Tudor, to leave the club with immediate effect." Tomislav Rogic and Ricardo Ragnacci have also left their respective roles of goalkeeping coach. What a job he did. And physical coach. We thank Igor, Tomislav, and Ricardo for their efforts during the past 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Actually, summer holiday as a kid, isn't it? In which they worked tirelessly. We acknowledge the bereavement that Igor has recently suffered and send our support to him and his family at this difficult time. So yeah, that's Tudor gone. I just want to put out a couple of things before I come to you first, Luke, about some sort of facts about Tudor's reign. So Tudor, 44 days in charge. I believe, and I think I've seen this somewhere today, that is the same amount of time that Brian Clough was in charge of Leeds United. So I think he's up there with interim managers, as it were. So here we go. February the 14th, Valentine's Day, my daughter's birthday. Tudor is appointed as Spurs head coach. February 22nd, Tudor loses his first game in charge, 4-1 at home to North London rivals Arsenal. March the 1st, new month, new beginnings. Spurs lose 2-1 at Fulham. March the 5th, Spurs lose 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace. March the 5th, Spurs lose, March the 10th, Spurs lose 5-2 to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League last 16. March 18th, Spurs beat Atletico. 15th, Spurs draw with Liverpool. They get a point. It's the only game he doesn't lose. 15th, 18th, they lose 3-2 they beat Atletico 3-2. 22nd, Spurs lose 3-0 to relegation rivals Nottingham Forest. That was a nail in the coffin. And 29th, Tudor leaves his role. So, am I right in thinking, Luke, did Tudor's dad sadly pass away? And
same day as the game.
Yeah. So, do you think that is why it's been mutually terminated, or do you think the writing was on the wall?
I think the writing was on the wall, but it's been sugar coated due to the situation, which I respect the club for not doing it that way. I said at the time he should have been sacked on the day, but given the situation, it's understandable that we sort of didn't do it immediately, just so long as it didn't stop any continuity with any incoming manager and any development that he'd be able to potentially get with the squad that's not gone on international duty. But it's been a sad state of affairs. It was a gamble. It was no experience. I've looked up who the two odds-on favourites on the bookies are for next manager, and it's Sean Dyche at pretty much evens at this point, and De Zerbi are the two favourites. And honestly, of the two, I think I would prefer Dyche, because De Zerbi, when he went to Brighton, he lost his first couple games and then got them rolling. We don't have time for that. We are in a crisis with 7 games left. We need immediate impact. We need immediate turnaround. We can't sort of splutter for a couple games. We've already had that with what would have happened with Tudor.
Very true. I completely agree. Pete, what's your dad saying, mate? What's he saying?
He wants him from Brighton, that De Zerbi, whatever he's called. He wants him
Zerbi,
in away. Yeah, I think he's a good coach, to be fair. He did well at Brighton, didn't he? So I reckon he should get a chance instead of Dyche, to be honest. Because what's going to happen with Dyche, to stay up and then get rid of him. That's what's going to happen, innit? So you might as well get De Zerbi in there and keep him and build with him, I think. Because I think he's a good coach, him, you see. So Dyche, he don't last very long at clubs, does he? I think Tottenham needs stability at the minute. They need somebody in charge for a long time, don't they? Yeah.
Zerbi normally has some friction with the board after maybe a year at most, and then leaves the club anyway. Happened at Brighton, happened at Marseille. Like it's the best of a bad bunch at the moment, but it's just the fact that he seems to go off to a slow start, De Zerbi, that he can't afford that in this. And if he does get off to a bad start, would he stay in the Championship? Like that's sort of the weighing your options in that as well. Like, would he have a get out clause of if we get relegated, he can walk?
Yeah, true.
So I'm going to a couple of comments here. I've got Birchie. Looking forward to tonight's show. Thank you, Birchie. And then I've got who's your choice overall as the new Tottenham manager? I think we just covered that kind of, Bez. Get Mourinho back in. from Bez. Danny, I want to ask you, pal, what do Tottenham do if they get relegated?
I thought I was going to be asked the last question and give something light-hearted. You've put me on the spot there. I was going to mention other managers that have been mentioned. Tim Sherwood, Postecoglou, he's been asked. Harry Redknapp, Sam Allardyce, they're all in the fray. What do they do? I think, no offence, lads. I'm sticking with it. I think they're going down. You could look at the running. Sunderland away. Sunderland have just, one time with a derby. Brighton, Wolves, Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, Everton. It's
bleak.
Yeah. But if they do go down, the extended playoffs next year, that should work in the favour. That's all I've got to say really about that. The light-hearted thing I did want to say, and tell me if you've heard this one. There's been no improvement since Thomas Frank leaving, and I just find it ironic that Thomas Frank, he looks a bit like Dracula, he sounds like Dracula, and then Igor has took over. Is that just me?
Well, Spurs. Is it a question of, and I'm going to come to you now, Carl, is it a question of, did Postecoglou work miracles last season for them to win the Europa League to get them into the Champions League? Carl, what are your thoughts? Was Postecoglou the problem, or
no? I don't think Postecoglou.
thing?
I don't think Postecoglou was the problem at all. I think Tottenham are architects of their own downfall. I think Postecoglou did well with Spurs, winning that European trophy. Don't forget where Spurs finished in the league that season. They narrowly avoided relegation. And where I say Spurs are architects of their own downfall is that when we talk about the big six, we include Spurs in there. Spurs narrowly avoided relegation. But with the new season started, they had ideas above the station. And that's good. You always should aspire to finish as high up the table and challenge for trophies as you want. But realistically, were Spurs going to shoot up that table in one season? And because they had a bad start, they changed manager, which I think in hindsight now we can all agree was the wrong decision, because they've now had how many managers this season, Luke?
This is going to be our third one.
Third.
So we had Frank for the whole season until February, and then we've had Tudor, and then Tudor's just been sacked.
So what you do when you change manager is a manager has an identity, a style of play, wants his team to play to. You get new players in, you adopt a new playing style, and when you change your managers multiple times, you're changing your style of football multiple times. Lots of ideas are implemented. You use that identity, and I think now you're seeing the result of what happens when you change managers multiple times. Just to touch on what you were saying before, Luke, with managers that are a favourite with the bookies. So we've gone from a position now at the start of the season where we say Spurs are a top six club. They aspire to be up the table. Now your whole season target is to avoid relegation, and there's no better manager than Sean Dyche, in my opinion. He'll get that team disciplined, grinding out results, and I think if you sign Sean Dyche, you will avoid relegation by the skin of your teeth. But then, where are Spurs next season? Because you don't then necessarily attach Sean Dyche to a title challenging team. So do then Spurs change again? And then you're in this vicious cycle. So long term, do I think Sean Dyche is the manager? No. Is he going to have the style of football that Spurs fans want to play? No. But what's more important, stay in the Premier League or start from solid foundations, possibly go down, but then give manager time and money to then create an identity, create a winning team, for you to challenge possibly in the future. It's a tricky one because I don't think Sean Dyche is a long-term one and it's only a one season. But sooner or later, you've got to stick with a manager. And I think there's no better person, fan-wise, to give you this than a City fan because, listen, in the 90s, we changed managers like hotcakes. I remember United fans telling me I think they had Fergie in a 20-odd year period and we'd had about 16 managers. So, I've seen it from both styles now. We've had Pep Guardiola for the last 10 years, been blessed. So that is all my views on the Spurs sort of like situation, if you like.
So what I will say to that, Carl, is obviously Manchester United finished in a very similar position to Spurs last season. What is the difference? Why are Man United currently sitting third in the Premier League and Tottenham Hotspur are sitting fourth bottom?
So, I mean, listen, you can't compare the clubs because you've got different players. There's lots of different factors coming in. I think United did have better players, which helps. They'd probably give the managers a little bit more time. That's an impossible question to answer. It's like comparing apples and oranges. And the questions on Spurs, if we start looking at other teams, then we could be here all night comparing different teams and strategies.
Very true. Carl.
I can answer I have an answer for the question of what's different.
Go on then.
One of Spurs' big glaring holes at the moment is goalkeeper. And what did Man United struggle with those previous seasons? They had Onana in net. They've solved that with Le Mans. We've had issues of injury. I'm not going to just point to injury though. It's way more than injuries. The fact that our physical staff, you said, got sacked as well as the goalkeeper coach and the manager. Our issues have been under Postecoglou's season where he won the European Cup. Injuries. This season, injuries. Don't know what it is. Systemically, we seem to have a lot of injuries year on year. But it's goalkeeping has been piss poor at times this season. It's been chance creation. It's been systemic.
I completely agree, Lou. I mean, and I'm going to ask you this one, Pete. Did the fact that you had Harry Kane and Heung-min Son for such a prolonged period of time paper over the cracks, Pete?
It could have done, couldn't it? I'll say anybody'd have Harry Kane in the team, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But I've been thinking, I don't know if name's not been mentioned yet. Southgate, he might take a job,
Oh, there we go.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's been mentioned, has it? Gareth Southgate. I'm not a fan of Southgate, by the way, but
Gareth Southgate, Spurs. That could be. Do you know what? I'm with you on that, Pete. That could be a job.
It could suit him, yeah.
That could suit him because it's not as things stand, really high profile. Sorry, Luke. It's not really, really high profile as things stand. Southgate, could he come in? Could he steady the ship? Maybe not this season, but certainly wherever they lie next season. Danny, what do you think? Gareth Southgate, Tottenham, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you guys, could it be that simple? Could it be that new manager bounce? Is that the answer for what's happened at Man U? I know we're talking Tottenham injuries and whatnot. What would you guys prefer, though, if it were an ex-player, Tottenham player, or an ex-manager, or would you stay away from that? I know we always ask this question. I know we've crowbar Rotherham in. We've been talking about that recently, and just for the comic relief tonight, put Amshaw in the running, and then he'll have relegated 2 teams this season.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there we go.
For me, the answer is continuity. If you look at the best teams in the league, the most successful teams in the league, it's continuity, and Spurs have 0 of that at the moment. So, are you going to bring in a manager to keep you up? Which if I was the Spurs owner, I'd be bringing Dyche until the end of the season, and then I'd be bringing a manager in for long term, and then I'd be backing him, and I wouldn't be sacking him because you're just going to be in this vicious cycle.
I mean, here's a genuine question, Carl. Do you not think potentially it could just be Spurs need, as you said, an entire reset? Maybe not in the Championship, but say Dyche keeps them up, and then you progress with him and try and build a little bit. You let him go some point into next season if a new manager comes available that would want the project. But we personally, and I don't want to say this, but we really need to just change Spurs' expectations. Like, we aspire for big, but right now, we can't start dreaming of Europe and of top 6 again. We need to stabilize. We need to get grounded. So would a tenure under Dyche or potentially a season for stability to at least build a defensive foundation? Because defensively, we have been shocking at times this season. Offensively as well, but some of the things that have happened, it just baffles the mind.
Well, it's a good question, but this is all about what do you aspire now? What do you aspire to achieve? Now, like I said there, Spurs are supposedly in the Big Six. Are they in the Big Six at the moment? No, they're a million miles away from it. Would the Spurs fans accept a rebuild under Sean Dyche long term with that style of football and not competing for trophies? Because as much as I think Sean Dyche is a solid manager, he's not a manager that's going to win you the Premier League. He's not gonna be a manager that's going to be winning big trophies. So that's the question. Do you accept Sean Dyche in the short term, one season, this season possibly, one more season to get your defence in order and then possibly look to another manager? Or are you doing yourselves out of a manager with giving him a year to maybe construct a winning team or a team that could possibly push up near the upper echelons of the league? That's $1 million question, and we're not sporting directors, so that's really difficult
We're not.
to answer.
What I would say is that Luke, please correct me if I'm wrong. Daniel Levy, he's no longer in charge of anything anymore, is he?
Correct. Yeah, he left, I believe, this summer.
So,
ironically, it's a former Arsenal director. So, I mean, there's conspiracy theories flying around about Vinay and all that stuff. But yeah, as soon as he's taken over, things have gone a bit Pete Tong.
So, my last question on the Spurs topic before we move on to Manchester City shortly is: have you ever heard of the LNER Stadium, Luke?
I'm going to say no.
Well, that's where Lincoln City play. So it's going to be Tottenham v Lincoln next season as things stand. So manager-wise, I've got a couple of comments here. Bushy reckons that Glenn Hoddle's back in the frame.
Zimmer frame or?
Oh no, he's fine. He's Glenn. He's all right. But Glenn's an interesting chap. I've got Dan Spendier was expecting Harry to come back. Crouchy, Defoe, and Cranshaw to dust the boots off.
Nico Cranshaw. I bought him everywhere.
Bez is with us. Missed out on Jermaine Defoe as manager, as he's just signed in as new Woking manager. Really? Is that right, Bez?
I think so, yeah.
Is Defoe the new Woking manager? Wow. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Introducing the first drop. KB Terrace Talk culture is live. This isn't polished. This isn't pretty. This is real football culture. Ambitious but brilliant for the ones who back it home and away. So basically, if you go to our store, we've got a store now, you can buy KB Terrace Talk merchant. Pete's got a mug on the way, haven't you, Pete?
I don't think it's been dispatched yet, so I don't know what he's doing.
It's not dispatched. But it'll be dispatched shortly. There's some mugs with my mug on it saying that places are awful. Hutch is with us. Evening, gents. Evening, Hutch. How's it going? Hutch, here we go again. Spurs need someone who knows the club, just like Man United did with Carrick. Some jobs in the Prem are not normal managerial roles. I totally get that. However, Spurs are in the absolute mire here. Like they are. Who do I think is going to go down? In fact, I'm going to ask you all in a minute. I think we're all certain that Wolves and Burnley are going to drop. So I'm going to ask you guys, first and foremost, you, Pete, who drops with Wolves and Burnley?
West Ham. Spurs
West
don't
Ham.
go down. Yeah, 100% West Ham.
West Ham. Luke?
I'm naturally a pessimist. So I'm sticking with my gut feeling if it's going to be us. I don't want to say it, but I just can't see us. I see West Ham picking up points. Somerville fires. You have Bowen firing. Who have we got firing? Where are our goals coming from? Where are our clean sheets coming from?
Yeah, good point. I watched Solanke in that England game the night. It was bloody awful. Danny, who's dropping with Wolves and Burnley?
Ask Carl first because I've just got something a little bit extra to say with that.
All right, Carl, who's dropping with Wolves and Burnley?
For me, this all depends on who Spurs sign as manager.
Right. Okay.
I think if they take on a defensive manager with experience like Dyche, I think they'll stay up. If they sign a manager with an attacking flair, which, let's be honest, is not needed at the moment, you need to grind out results, I think they will go down. So it's all on the manager for me.
So let's just say they sign an attacking manager. Who do they drop?
Yeah, because you won't have Spurs' problem is they're conceding shitloads of goals at the moment.
Yeah.
And if they sign an attacking manager who's going to play in a particular style and brand of football, he's got to get those players used to it in a short space of time. You haven't got that luxury.
No.
Dyche will go in there straight away and make them solid, tough to beat. That is what's going to keep them up. So if they sign Sean Dyche, I think they stay up. If they sign a De Zerbi or someone attacking, I think they'll go down.
Oh, fair play. Danny boy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, the simple answer for me, Spurs. But the one thing that could save Spurs, and it's a nice little segue onto your next piece.
Indeed, yes.
What if Man City get a massive points deduction? It could save Spurs.
Right. So on that note, we shall move on to the news that I came across the last couple of days that Manchester City 115 charges of, I don't know what the word is, misconduct regarding financial irregularities could be coming to a head. Now, like Carl has said to me in our group chat, there's no judgment being made right now. However, experts, as it were, are starting to think that this could be the start of something where they get ultimately a 60-point deduction. Now, before I go any further, Luke and Pete, are you wanting to stick around for this, or you want to head off?
Yeah, I'll stick around, pal.
Yeah. Luke, you stick around for a bit? Happy days. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. So, obviously, the writer's reply to these questions and these things, I'm going to have to go to our resident Manchester City fan, Carl. Carl, what are your thoughts?
So a few things like pissed me off straight away there, Danny. Like your point there, where the City get a 60-point deduction. Why are we even entertaining this as a subject to discuss? Because
possibly,
Danny, we've not even been found guilty. And
exactly, possibly.
One second, let me finish my points, and then you can retort. And these so-called experts, Tom, they're not experts; they're just reporters trying to sell papers. One second, let me finish my points.
Go on.
Yeah, no expert in their right mind is going to flirt a 60-point deduction without a verdict coming out. So whether City are found guilty, I don't care if we get a 1,000-point deduction if we're found guilty. But let's be found guilty first, yeah? I'm sick
No.
of reading. We've got 60 points. We're going to get relegated. We're going to have title strips and all. It's fucking bollocks. Find us guilty first, and then whatever the punishment is, I'll accept it. It's not going to stop me watching City. Yeah, they're still giving me the greatest times of my life. But all this talk of fucking stripping titles as well is absurd, because these financial irregularities, if proven, were between 2008 and whatever it was, 2012. The teams of recent years that have won the trebles, those players have had nothing to do with those times. You can't start stripping them. They've done nothing wrong. The players on the pitch have done their job. But that's all I've got to say to it at this point. So now, go ahead. Let me hear what you've got to say.
Right, so here we go. And before we go any further, let's do some comments. Let's all have a breather. So Bushy here with us again. You can't compare Spurs with United. Levels, boys. Really good panel tonight, though. Some real knowledgeable chat. So that's praise indeed. Where are we? Hutch is saying Forest will drop. Dan's with us. Spurs for me. Forest game was the final nail in the coffin. Dan again with us. Not a chance they get 60 points this season. Their lawyers are far too clued up and would find a way to delay it. So, key word there is delay. Okay. And then I'm going to go on to an article that I've found. Which it's not like a spam article. It is basically saying what's happening as things stand. So it starts off with a bullet point. Manchester City are at risk of a 60-point deduction. Then it says the citizens could miss out on the Champions League next season. Once again, it's leading. Man City could be relegated to the Championship. Could. Manchester City have had a roller coaster of a season so far, and their chance of winning the Premier League are getting slimmer by the day, which is fair enough. Arsenal are currently, as things stand, nailed on to win the Premier League, which is a shame for all of us. Certainly Luke and Pete. Now, as if that wasn't enough, the club are reportedly at risk, keyword, of a 60-point deduction. Man City have been part of an ongoing investigation since February 2023 on charges of violating FFP rules. The Premier League has accused the club of doing so on 115 occasions over a 9-year period. While the verdict in the case still hasn't been delivered, so that's what Carl's saying. There's no verdict being delivered yet, and I'm totally with Carl on that. There has been speculation about the kind of punishment City might face if found guilty. The answer certainly won't be pleasing for the fans to hear. Now, this is the bit, Carl, where if I was a Manchester City fan, I'd be like, ugh, right? And this guy's usually nails on, to be honest with you. Football finance expert Kieran Maguire has told Give Me Sport, suggested that City could be facing a 60-point deduction. Maguire stated, if we take a look at precedents, we have had Everton and Nottingham Forest with 6 and 4-point deductions for a single offence. That's one offence. So basically what he's saying is that one offence has done a 4 or a 6-point deduction, never mind 115 charges. Now, the argument here is, Carl, like you say, no verdict's been given. There's no verdict being given here at all at any point, right? Yet.
Yeah, so just to come to some points that you made there. So everything that you've just read out, we knew a year ago. We
You
knew
did.
that 115 charges is unprecedented. We knew that scale-wise, the punishment City would get if found guilty of all 115 charges is going to be massive compared to what Everton got. I don't dispute any of that, but I could write an article and put it online tomorrow and go, oh, they could get a 100-point deduction. What that guy has said is everything. It's clickbait. He's saying everything we know. The only point that he's put on there that's different is 60 points, and it's to sell papers. And let's get a couple of things in perspective here. That unprecedented punishment that we're supposed to get, which could total 60 points, that's if we're found guilty of 115 charges. What if we're only found guilty on 5 of them? Do you know what I mean? There's so many unknowns. That is my point of let's wait for a fucking verdict. Because it's totally irrelevant speculating on a points deduction and like they could get this, they could get that. My auntie could be my uncle if she had balls as well, but we don't fucking know, do we? So I mean, like, there's only one person who, when it comes to someone who's a finance expert, I think his name is it Bjorgsen?
Well, this guy's the best of the best.
Well, I don't think he is. That's your opinion. But anyway, I think a lot of what you've read there is 99.9% we knew when this started. The only thing that's different is he said we could get a 60-point deduction. But where are people getting these deductions from when we've not been found guilty? I think it's poor reporting. I think it's clickbait. It's there to sell news, and it's a great thing if you want to sell news and get people to click. I was watching what's his fucking name? The ex-Forest fan who's a United fan now. What's his name?
Goldbridge.
I was watching one of his videos before. Breaking news! City could get 60-point deduction. Fucking hell, I might put one out tomorrow myself on TikTok saying breaking news: City could get a 2,000-point deduction. It's all irrelevant. Let's wait for the verdict, and then whatever we get, I'll take on the chin. But it won't stop me supporting my team, so I don't know what the kerfuffle is about. And to be honest, I think if you ask 99.9% of City fans, we're not asked. We're not asked what we get if we're found guilty. We'll take it on the chin because we love the club.
I mean, to push back on that though, Carl. I mean, Maguire is all he's doing is he is what he's not doing clickbait. What he's saying is Everton.
I don't understand why a supposed expert would say 60-point deduction when there's no verdict. I question an expert's authenticity for giving a punishment for something someone's not been found guilty of. Would I go online and say that guy is a paedophile without finding out he's guilty? Would I go on there and say that guy's an arsonist or he's a murderer?
No, I totally get you. But what I'm saying is, Carl, do you follow politics at all?
Yeah, I do follow politics. What the fuck's that got to do with football?
No. What I'm saying is, it all comes down to opinion, doesn't it? And stating facts that.
Yeah. And I get that. That's fine to have an opinion. It's fine for you to say, listen, if City are found guilty here, they should have a 60-point deduction. That is perfect to write. But what these reporters are writing is not that. They're making out that a verdict or the club is guilty before they've been found guilty. That is what I've got an issue with.
Right,
is that not a fair comment?
No, honestly, all the comments have been fair. This is just, like you say, speculation, and a football finance expert, a guy who knows the game inside out, is stating that Everton and Forest got charged X amount of points for one rule breach.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
So I'm not an expert in finance, yeah? I'm not an expert. This guy is an expert. Could he have not worded that, being an expert, and said, if City are found guilty of all 115 charges, they could get... But they don't. Do you see how that's leading?
Sell papers.
Exactly, Luke. That is my point. This is to sell news, and that is worded in a way... Because as soon as I heard this, by the way, as a City fan, what do you think the first thing I did was?
Research.
I'm on the internet. I'm Googling, aren't I? Have we been found
Very
guilty?
true.
And then it went, and I went on ChatGPT. Have City been? No verdict has come out. This is all speculation. And I'm like, what the fuck? And you know what? There'll be more reports before this verdict comes out. There'll probably be another one in 2 months' time saying 100 points or no points, just direct relegation. And you know what? That's fine. But report it in the right way, guys.
No. Listen, we make the news and we break the news. All I'm saying is this has become quite prominent because potentially they were going to release their judgment Easter weekend.
I know, but like, so what is different now to 2 weeks ago?
Well,
Before this report came out, what's different?
Basically, the minds have been made up. The judgment is there. It's just when they're going to release it.
So no. So what's different from 2 weeks ago? Have we got a verdict? Have we been found guilty?
By news reports, no.
You can't. No. Have we been found guilty of this?
No.
It's a simple enough question.
So what's changed? I'll tell you what's changed. A reporter has reported a 60-point deduction in his opinion he thinks we will get. Which in what your terms, what you just said before, it's about opinions. So basically, a reporter has had an opinion that he thinks we're going to get a 60-point deduction.
No. He's had an opinion on the 60-point deduction, Carl. However, the verdict has been reached, but not released.
The verdict was reached months ago.
Right, okay.
But we don't know it. So we haven't been found guilty of anything yet. Nothing's changed in the last 2 weeks, apart from a reporter reporting a possible 60-point deduction without having a verdict.
So my next question is, right, and I'm totally with you. Couple of comments. Let's have a look. Where are we? JB, Carl is, I don't know what that means.
I think he means making a good point.
Carl is wiping the floor with all these journos, right?
Thank
fair
you,
enough.
mate.
There we go. Got it. Right. What else have we got? Let's have a look. The real Phil Smith. Why is it taking so long to sort this shit out? Other than that fact that they are trying to find a way not to punish Man City as much as they should.
Well, I mean, I can
Forest
put up
4 points for one breach.
I can put up a response to this. So, listen, there's 115 charges. So this isn't a typical one charge with 4 points deduction or what have you. And there is going to be massive ramifications, not just for Man City. This is going to affect the Premier League. This is going to affect every team in the league. As we discussed earlier, you know, if you were to bring in a points deduction this season, this could possibly save Spurs. This could possibly hand Arsenal the title. This could possibly give other teams Champions League spaces. This isn't just drop a verdict and then let the cards lie how they lie. This is going to affect the biggest football league in the world, billions and billions of pounds, and it's not so easy where you can just drop it. So that's the reason. I don't think it's the Premier League trying to not punish Man City, because I think if we're found guilty of all 115 charges, I think they'll throw the book at us, and rightly so, because I wouldn't be happy if another club had done this. The only point I'm trying to make is let's wait for the verdict and let's make sure that we get the right outcome. I think if City are found guilty of this and there is a points deduction, a massive one, you can't do that at the end of the season. No, it's not fair. It's not. If Arsenal go on to win the title, let's say if City get a points deduction now, let's say we're found guilty, and let's just say we're found guilty on some of the charges and they apply 30, 40, 50. I feel sorry for Arsenal because I think Arsenal have been excellent this season, and I think Arsenal winning the league should be done where there's no come back on them saying, well, you were handed it from from City being on points deducted. I also think, if there's teams that are going to get relegated, and let's be sensible here, the amount of income that teams get from the Premier League is substantial and it can wipe some teams out. I don't think City getting relegated there because, I'll make another point after I've finished this one. It shouldn't save a team from being relegated either. I think you should do it at the start of the season, and if it's 60 points, that's fine. What was the point I was going to make then? If City did get relegated, I was reading somewhere. I watched a video on a fan's site. I don't think he was a City fan because it wound me up. The video. He's going through all the City teams saying if City are relegated, these are the players they're going to lose. Listen, City have got deep pockets. We won't lose any players. One season in the Championship or out the Champions League, the players who have been brought into City know the club is good enough and big enough that it'd just be a year. We all know that anyway. Don't get me wrong. It's a massive punishment. It will construe to be a massive loss and dip in revenue. But not for a season. Players aren't jumping ship for a season. I was reading, if we get relegated, Haaland's going to Madrid, Rodri's going to Madrid, we'll lose Semenyo, Cherki will be off to PSG, Donnarumma's jumping. Then they're not going for one season. So I don't think it would affect the City team whatsoever, really, apart from not having Premier League or Champions League football for a season. And like I said, if that's the punishment, then so be it. But those are the points I want to make so far.
No, you're right enough, mate. Like you say, it's speculation, but it's certainly come back into the press recently. Quick one. I'm going to go to you, Luke. Are City guilty or not guilty?
That's almost as leading as the articles. If there's that many charges, you would assume they are at least somewhat guilty, but as to what extent? That's what I'd say. Will they be guilty on 115? No.
It's such
Will they probably half of them? Maybe. Let's say it's about 55. Then that's still probably going to be enough to bring a significant enough risk to them in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Let's say that's 30 points. Let's say that's the number they magic up.
Pete, thoughts on the 115 charges, mate?
I don't know what to say. Just come back to the point what Carl making. Say if City did go down, the players won't jump ship. Can you remember when Juventus got relegated?
Del Piero,
they had Buffon on net. They had all the best. They had all the best players. City a bit same.
Yeah, but forgive me if I'm wrong. Juventus got relegated about 5 divisions, though, didn't they? Not one.
Is that what it was?
No, it was just to Serie B. Yeah. It was one season in Serie B.
Yeah, it's for match. It was match fixing high. Paying rent.
They kept all the best players, didn't they? They kept all the best players.
Yeah, it was probably about 10 left, I reckon, but they kept the Buffons, the Del Pieros.
Great team.
City bits.
I agree. Danny, thoughts on Manchester City?
Yeah, Carl covered all our points there. The only other thing, obviously, what's going to happen with Pep either way, I think that's worth a little discussion. Interesting how you said about the trophies. Does that have to be in the rules? Look at what's happened with Senegal and Morocco recently, obviously.
True.
I don't agree with him taking trophies off him if that was the case.
No.
So
Danny, I'm the same as you. Obviously, Senegal, Morocco. I think that's going to get overturned, and Senegal will get the trophy because that was massively corrupt, that game. In all honesty, and I'm like Carl was saying, it's going to blight the Premier League and the biggest league in the world. You can't now go in taking trophies off people and hand them to other teams because that is just, it's not what it's about. So this is where I think there's a massive predicament in the Premier League right now. And I think this is why it took so long. So Everton and Forest got punished immediately, right? What do you do with the Man City problem? I think that's where it is.
But don't forget as well, Everton and Forest admitted it, and we deny it. So
Well,
that's why.
very true. Very true.
I'd also like to mention with that then, thoughts on the whole Chelsea thing of them only getting a fine rather than they dobbed themselves in as well, and they only got a fine whilst Forest and Everton were getting points deductions when risking relegation.
I think
it's pretty for Europe.
To answer your question there, Luke, I think it was under a different owner, and that's why they've gone lenient on them. Abramovich was in charge, wasn't he? Obviously, the Ukraine war kicks off. He does one. He's probably going to fall out of a high building in Moscow at some point. That's how it happened.
No, it was less that he was. It wasn't just. It was because he was forced out. Remember, he didn't want to.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
exactly.
He was forced to.
They've decided not to punish Chelsea because ultimately they want to punish the owner, don't they? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to punish fans. They don't want to punish players. They want to punish the owner because the owner is not involved anymore, as it were. They can't really punish Todd Bowley. So
I think just to touch on one last thing, just moving away from the court case for a second. Was it Danny that mentioned about Pep? I think Pep's got one more season. I think he will leave after that season. I've got a few friends who work for Man City, so I do get to hear certain things. And we've already got a replacement lined up for Pep. Pep will have input in that. And those players would have been made aware as well. Your Cherkies that he's coming in. He's on 1 year. So I wouldn't worry too much about who's going to take Pep's place and how long he's staying. I think he'll do this season and one more. And then we'll have someone who's probably already been contacted by Man City. I won't go into the names yet. But I'll be happy with Pep's successor. Don't worry about that.
Carl, in no ways to wind you up, mate. And this is what we're here for, to talk about the speculation of what ifs. And I know you're saying wait until the verdict. Let's say, what if you are in the Championship next season? Does Pep stay?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
And my last question on this one, Carl.
Pep's a god at Man City. There's nothing.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even when we lost 3 or 4 games there, very, very small amount of fans saying they wanted a different manager. 99.9% of City fans think Pep walks on water, and rightly so.
I tell you what, it's a guaranteed trophy for him. Another one.
I think we averaged 2 trophies a season since he's been at City. So I mean, on that return,
get the championship.
I told you I'd bring the light humour tonight. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not bad, that one humorous moment in 54 minutes. Well done, Danny.
Hey, I got you going, Carl. Well done, mate. I did enjoy that, mate. Well done.
And now Bushy's trying to rage bait me with this comment.
Take the trophies off them chewing. Okay, and then Bushy's put cheated to win them, remove them. Oh, Bushy.
I mean, I don't really want to get onto a conversation about United because I think we could have a whole entire another show on United. But are we all aware of how much debt United are in and all their COVID payments that they received? I mean, they could be done some charges because I'm sure some of their losses were over what the limit was allowed. But I mean, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
I mean, listen. I mean, you know what? I'm a Rotherham United fan, as is Danny, as is Pete. Luke's a Dorking fan. We could only dream.
Bush is a Rotherham fan when United are losing.
So what about when Rotherham are losing? Who the fuck is his support?
Oh, he fucks off to United then. And then he's got a soft spot for another team. I don't know how many teams he supports.
Well, do you know what? He supports KB Terrace Talk. We make the news and we break the news and all that sort of shit. But Carl, last thing I want to ask you.
Go on.
Last thing I want to ask you. What do you think's going to happen? Are you guilty or not guilty?
That's a hard question to answer. I think we will be found not guilty on all charges or guilty on one or two. That is what I think will happen, because the owner of Man City, Sheikh Mansour, like, have you looked into the businesses that guy has shares and ownership in? We are talking some of the biggest businesses in the world. That man is about as clever and as astute as you can get, and you're not that clever and astute. Like, and he come out with a statement saying we are 100% innocent. You don't make statements like that if you don't believe them, because he's going to look very, very stupid if we are found guilty of 115 charges. I think, so answer, just to summarise, no, I don't think we'll be found guilty. I think we'll be proved innocent on all or nearly all of them. And I think if we're found guilty on one or two charges, I think we'll get a points deduction. Depending on how many charges they are, will then, transpire with the points it is.
Bushy said that you've turned into Rachel Reeves with political answers.
No, I think I'm more Tony Blair than Rachel Reeves. She couldn't fucking polish a turd, her.
Oh, well, fair enough. I've got JB with us. JB. And away for the grafters, the ones who know what it means. No badges, no gimmicks. Just Terrace Energy. Shop the drop. So please go and buy our merchandise. There we go. I'm a Millers fan. Can you ask Carl to explain to us all what a trophy is? I'll answer that one, JB. I'll tell you what. We were at the Pizza Cup a few years ago. And
the Papa John's.
Yeah. We were there, weren't we, Danny?
We were, mate.
A good day.
When 2-2, Desmond Tutu made it 2-2.
Desmond Tutu. Osei Tutu. Listen, I tell you what. Apparently, the real Phil Smith saying Lee supports Leeds as well.
Huh?
I just wanted to touch on something very briefly, Tom. Now, you made a comment before that Arsenal are virtually certainties for the league.
Okay, yeah, go on.
We just destroyed them in the cup final.
You
We've got a
did.
game in hand, and we've got to play them at the Etihad. If we win
did.
our game in hand, we beat them at the Etihad. And I know these are all ifs and buts. We're only 3 points behind. And then after giving them a fucking trouncing in the cup final, if we do beat them at the Etihad, we'll start to see some twitchy bum. We've been there and done it before. So I know we've got to go out and win that game in hand. I know we've got to beat them at the Etihad. If we do those two things, listen, that's a 50-50 coin flip then. I'd rather be in Arsenal's position, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying this isn't as clear cut as everyone thinks it is.
No, Arsenal bottle it anyway. Man City win it.
Well, Pete's saying
I like that, lad.
Win it.
You can come again.
City
Danny, you can fuck off.
What is Arsenal's goal difference is superior though, isn't it, Carl? I believe.
Yeah, but if we beat them at home 2-0, that's a 4-goal swing.
Right.
We win our game in hand.
Yeah.
That's goal differences has evaporated all of a sudden.
All right.
And then Arsenal have to lose another game as well, which then you're at least swapping 2 each way if it's a 1-0, 1-0.
Exactly.
So,
like
for it to be possible, goal difference is still very volatile. There's only 7 goal difference in it.
Hey, can you imagine as well, if we did turn it around, we won the league, then we were found guilty, points. And then we got the 60-point deduction.
and then we stay up just to piss them off a little bit more. Oh, it'd be a perfect storm.
Lovely.
Well, do you know what? I mean, all these things could happen in cloud fucking cuckoo land, Carl. Right?
Yeah. Listen, this is why we love the game of football. Opinions.
No,
I'm not my fault. Your opinion and Danny's opinion.
I thought it was facts, Carl.
I was speculating, Carl. I put it out there just to let you go with it, mate.
No, listen. I have got nothing against opinions. The only thing I've got a problem is when so-called experts start giving their opinion that come over as facts when it's not fact. Do you get me?
Oh, no.
I'm with you on that, Carl. But Carl, listen, if we just dealt in facts every day, what's the point? We've got a nutcase in America right now who does not deal in facts.
What was the first thing I said to you before we come on air? Facts. I said, have you put a bit of timber on? Do you know what I mean?
You did indeed.
Well, Carl, you've got your phone like that, so it makes you look slimmer, mate.
Exactly. Why do you think I've done that?
And I'm in white.
Black's
White
such a slimming colour.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Right, a couple of things before we wrap up tonight, because honestly, tonight when I was thinking, Bushy messaged me, do you want a thumbnail for this? I was like, I don't have a fucking clue what we're even going to talk about. And then I seen that Tudor got sacked. City are going to get bummed. And I was like, whoa. And do you know what? Thanks so much for coming on. A couple of things I want to say. Steve Evans is ripping it up at Bristol Rovers. Danny boy, you want to say anything about that?
No, brilliant. Yeah, he's got him out of relegation. He's done what he needed to do. I don't think we need to crowbar in what ifs if he would have stayed. He is the man.
Pete, Steve Evans fan, I'm assuming, mate.
Yeah, I love the big man. Yeah, I'm glad he's doing well.
Here. Well, Manjaro Steve now.
Yeah.
Dorkin sailing up the league. Spurs sailing down the league. Luke, any thoughts? Done?
Yeah, I'm just happy to see one of my teams at least doing well, and it's my local. So
indeed,
easy
mate.
to go support that.
And Luke in La La Land thinking that City are going to get off with the 115 charges. Let's see where we go. Just joking, mate. Carl.
Yes, mate.
Yeah. Good lad.
Right. My local team won as well today, Stockport County. So, and they're going well in the league. So I'm giving them a bit of a shout out.
Oh, do you live near Cheadle, pal?
I do know Cheadle.
Yeah, I know it very well. Yeah, very well. It's nice.
Anyway,
place.
just to finish up, Carabao Cup champions, first trophy in the bag.
Indeed.
Thank you for stopping the quadruple.
Yeah, do you know what?
Needed
That's
that.
one last thing I want to say, actually. I'm really happy that the quadruple didn't happen, because if the quadruple happens, what's the point? It's a J from the in-between, isn't it? Completed it, mate. So I'm glad that has not happened.
Yeah.
And seriously, it'll be interesting to watch Spurs or Man City play Lincoln at the LA next stadium next season. So from myself, Tom, we've got Millers Monday tomorrow. I think Lee, Bushy, can you confirm or deny that? There's been not a lot of football. Blackpool, I want to give a special mention to Blackpool. What a pathetic little life Blackpool have. Absolutely.
Oh, I missed them in the Prem.
No,
That was
what
a fun season.
What a pathetic club they are. They've got all the grace and decorum of a dump truck reversing without any wheels. So thank you, Blackpool. You ruined my weekend. You ruined everybody's who's a Rotherham United fans' weekend. So get out, because you've relegated us potentially. Blackpool won yesterday in the 93rd minute, which is basically buggered us. But anyway, never mind.
Hanshaw buggered you.
Yeah, well, do you know what? He's buggered a few things. I'm just making sure. Oh, hang on, Bushy. One more for you, Carl. Here's a fact. You cheated.
Fucking hell, he's a clairvoyant now as well, isn't he?
And then he's also put, won it, cheating, well done. And he's put,
when the verdict comes out, we'll know, won't we?
We'll go ahead. Right. Cheers, Pete. Cheers, Luke. Cheers, Danny Boy. Cheers, Carl. I can't believe that's been some great discussions tonight, I think, actually. And much love to all the teams that you support. Let's see what happens. It's been a Sunday. International break is shit. I think we all agree with that, don't we? The weather outside shit, but it's lighter now at night, so you can see the weather that is really shit in daylight. So, yeah. I just want to say thank you to Pete. Thanks, Pete.
No worries, Tom. Anytime, pal.
Cheers, man. Are you back on nights tomorrow, pal?
Yeah, so I can't make Miller's Monday. So
Can't make Miller's Monday?
No, sorry.
No, you're fine, mate. Luke.
Yep.
Thanks, pal.
No worries, mate.
There's no World War III references tonight or anything like that.
Or World War II, or just World Wars in general.
Yeah, just no
It's a
wars.
nice change of pace.
Change of pace. Happy days. Danny boy, thank you as ever. My main man. Love you. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. Go on, Danny.
Just minor stuff that I were going to put crowbar in, but obviously we've had we've covered the big stuff tonight. But stuff to talk about in the week potentially. Friendly, Mexico 0, Portugal 0.
Right.
Smashing stuff. But will Ronaldo, will Messi be in the World Cup? Will we see them?
Yeah.
Legacy stuff, all building up to the World Cup, and obviously the World Cup podcasts that I know you'll be doing. Willstone Raiders are into the FA Trophy final. You've got no fans. Yes.
Got no fans. You want some? I'll give it you.
And then, like I say, I don't want to bring it down. I always crowbar the F1 in. I'll not give the result away. But Ollie Behrman were in a bad crash today, if you've seen that. And Tiger Woods is in the news again. Drunken DUI, yeah.
Yeah, DUI. Tiger Woods, who is a golfer. He's back on the drink and the sex again. Carl, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to give a good shout out to Blackpool. Well done for getting Rotherham relegated, and that's me out.
Cheers, Carl. I hope you get a 6-point deduction, mate.
No worries. Ciao.
Right, thanks for all tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on Miller's Monday. Thanks for the great panel. Love you all. Up the Millers.
Night, guys. Up the Millers.
Up the Blackpool.
Night.